Last week, I was looking through some boxes in which my mom had family memorabilia stored, and I came across a few things pertaining to my life. My name is Michelle Gibson. One was a picture taken with my family after my high school graduation ceremony. I graduated from high school on June 10th of 1981. I found this photo of me in the box, taken in 1983 at the age of 19, when I was in Pensacola, Florida for my advanced individual training in the Army after I completed basic training. I met my future husband, Sergeant First Class Dave Gibson, when I was stationed in Augsburg, Germany between 1983 and 1985. This picture of us would have been taken in the early 1990s, when we were both Special Olympics volunteers in Clovis, New Mexico. We were married 8 years to the day after I graduated from high school on June 10th of 1989, which I didn't realize until I found the two programs shared here. The reason I'm doing this video today is because in finding my baby book, I found out that my first outing at 1 week old was to Great Falls Park in Maryland. This was an unexpected confirmation for me of a feeling I have had for a while, that I was connected to the information that I am sharing in my work from the very beginning of my life, long before I was consciously aware of it. It seems like to me I have had a lifelong experience of collecting puzzle pieces. I grew up in Montgomery County, Maryland, outside of Washington, D.C. My first home as a small child was in Rockville. When I was 2, my parents moved to Gaithersburg, which is where my earliest conscious memories are. The family church I grew up in was Twin Brook Baptist Church in Rockville. When I started researching a couple of years ago, I found out that the Twin Brook area is adjacent to Rock Creek. The church softball team, of which my dad was a member, practiced at the Meadow Hall Elementary School field, which was right beside the church, just slightly downhill, and was the next street address over on Twin Brook Parkway. When Dad was practicing and I was young, instead of watching the games, I was always down off into the woods, right off the ball field, exploring. It was a really cool place, in more ways than one. What I remember is going down into the woods and eventually finding really big stones to play in. They were really fun for a 6, 7, or 8, or whatever year old to play in and around. In 1974, right after the birth of my youngest brother, and when I was 10, we moved to a larger home in Rockville. I lived here until 1982, when, after a year of junior college, I joined the Army for the Veterans Educational Assistance Program. The reason I bring this up is because the street we lived on, Lindley Terrace, on one end, some of the houses had a steep gradient on the backside. I mean, really steep. However, the houses were built on a predominantly flat surface. The house my parents bought was on one of the flattest lots on the street. This relates to what I believe now was actually underneath us, like a flat-top pyramid, perhaps. We were literally right next to the boundary fence of the Lakewood Country Club, with a golf tee area right on the other side of us. As a family, we would occasionally go to Thurmont in western Maryland to Cunningham Falls State Park. There was a picnic/swimming area at a lake, and then there were the falls themselves, so I have memories of climbing up the big rocks of the falls. I had no concept in my awareness that waterfalls could be anything other than natural. But massive and block-shaped stonework is a recurring feature of waterfalls. Our Lindley Terrace house in Rockville was a short, under 20-mile or 32-kilometer drive to the Maryland side of Great Falls Park. Access to the falls themselves, at least when I was young, was cut off after Hurricane Agnes came barreling through in 1972. There was access to an area with big stones that was fun to hike and climb, as well as the C&O Canal nearby. So it was a place I went to many times with family or friends. Waterfalls are a great example of what I am talking about when I say that from my studies of images and videos on the internet, and some places I have visited, it appears to me that all of the infrastructure of the earth carries the same signature, the same hand of design. Following the alignments that emanate from the North American star tetrahedron is what brought me to this level of understanding and these conclusions. I did not have these beliefs before I went on this journey. These examples just scratch the surface. I have put together groupings of pictures of waterfalls from different places with similar characteristics. Here's one kind: Havasupai Falls in Arizona's Grand Canyon. Looks similar to waterfalls in Luang Prabang in Laos. Dunn's River Falls in Jamaica. Erawan Falls in Thailand. And Cascade Falls in Port Vila on the island of Vanuatu. In the next series of waterfalls in China, Croatia, Idaho, and Oklahoma, there appears to be some massive engineering going on. There are very similar design features across continents. This is the Huangguoshu waterfall in the province of Guizhou, China. Waterfalls found in the Krka National Park in southern Croatia. Twin Falls in Idaho. Plitvice Lakes National Park in central Croatia. And Turner Falls in Davis, Oklahoma. In the next series of waterfalls in Oregon, Switzerland, Australia, Istria, the Philippines, Mexico, Venezuela, and British Columbia, you will see similarities in the flow of water from the top of what looks like a wall and similar coloration. These are the Multnomah Falls located in the Columbia River Gorge in Oregon. The Staubach Falls in the Lauterbrunnen Valley in the Bernese Alps of Switzerland. These waterfalls in the Blue Mountains of the Great Dividing Range in New South Wales near Sydney. Slop Sopat, the second highest waterfall in Istria, a region shared between Croatia, Slovenia, and Italy. These at Davao in the Philippines, which is known as the City of Waterfalls. Basasiechik Falls in Mexico. Angel Falls in Venezuela. And Takakaw Falls in British Columbia. In the next set of slides, I chose this particular style to highlight because of Natural Falls State Park in Oklahoma. I visited there in the spring of 2016 on my way to visit Eureka Springs in Arkansas. By that time, I had realized that the word natural was one of the cover-up code words for the ancient civilization, and that parks are places that it is preserved. So basically, I had to go see it for myself. So I physically saw the ancient stone structures like this as I followed the path to Oklahoma's natural falls. I found a similar-looking waterfall called Slapvirja near Bovec, Slovenia, which was in the former Yugoslavia. Lastly, I'm going to share some more examples of twin falls around the world, like Twin Falls State Park in Washington State, Twin Falls in Seneca, New York, Twin Falls in Richland Creek, Arkansas, and Twin Falls in Mullins, West Virginia. This is just a small sample of many similar examples I have encountered in my research. I see beautiful stonework and stone masonry in these waterfall photos, made with intention and not randomly, and similar design features in places far from each other. The ancients worked wonders with stone. Their true legacy is kept from us and is all around us, hidden right in front of our eyes. I will leave you with this picture of a beautiful waterfall in Slovenia to emphasize what I am saying. Could there possibly be another explanation for its existence, and that of many others that we have not been told about, besides being only the result of natural geological forces?